Okay. What's going on, LBHT crew B? What is going on?
Not a whole lot. Getting ready for the holiday.
Yes. Happy holidays. When you see this, it will be Wednesday. We are actually recording this on a Tuesday, but it's Thanksgiving Eve. Hopefully your week is going well, and if not, hopefully it gets better starting right now as you are watching this show. This will be a pre-recorded show, but we're gonna post it as a premiere, so you guys can hang out in the chat and leave your comments as you watch this show. And you're also welcome to leave comments after the show plays, because it'll have a replay attached to it. But if you're new here, take a moment, hit that like and subscribe button. Also, make sure you're following us on our social media: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at LBHT Show. And April is here with my food. You can leave right here. Thank you.
It's a very special edition of the LBHT Show because y'all aren't here.
Yes.
Not saying that makes it better. But it's
different.
It's special. Okay?
All right, so we have a lot to talk about. Not a lot of time. We want to give you a little bit more since we're not here, especially for our patrons, since we're not doing the overtime show this week. So we're gonna have a couple of extra stories. Obviously, we're going to give you the Ravens and Panthers stuff, and we have a lot to talk about on those sides. But also, we have a little LeBron drama to talk about. All right, we have a possible Tonya Harding-esque situation going on. Oh,
yeah, and we ignored the story when it first came out because it's soccer, but it took another turn, so we're gonna discuss it a little bit.
Yeah, and a coach firing or two, possibly, right? And we can hope for more. But first, as we like to start every show, we're going to start with a Black History fact, and B has a Black History fact for you.
So I mean, it's just going to be a real quick one. I had actually a different fact lined up, but then I said, hey, it's Thanksgiving. I should probably just mention something connected with Thanksgiving. And I think a lot of people know the kind of origin. I don't want to call it an origin story, but the history of Thanksgiving, and how the Native Americans basically saved the colonists' lives and were repaid with genocide. That's not what we're talking about tonight. The Thanksgiving didn't actually become a kind of official holiday until 1863, when Abraham Lincoln said he wanted to make an official day of Thanksgiving. And this was, several months after he had signed the Emancipation Proclamation. So I just wanted to kind of mention what Thanksgiving was like, or what it meant for Black people prior to it becoming official. The Thanksgiving holiday was, not necessarily a time of coming together and giving thanks and, spending time with your family. Although, it was for some people, the slaves would try to visit family if they could. A lot of times they were kind of off of work, if you want to call it that. But what a lot of people used it for was an opportunity to escape, because the slave owners would be traveling. Like I said, they'd be celebrating. They wouldn't be out there working, and the slaves would take that opportunity to essentially get away. And it was, after crop yield, and they would go and ask for a pass to go to visit a family member on another plantation. They would get the pass, and they would kind of use that as a almost a hall pass kind of thing, right? If they get stopped out on the street, like, oh, hey, I have my pass, I'm going over here to visit my family, and it would kind of delay their owners of knowing that they were escaping.
Right.
So it's just a little reminder that these kind of American traditions always have another side to them, and typically it's much darker,
yes,
than what you think about day to day.
So this Thanksgiving, we were saying what we're thankful for. We're gonna raise our cup to the slaves who got away. Cheers. And with that, let's get into some. You want to get into some coaches that are getting away?
Some coaches getting some early vacations potentially. Jason Garrett was let go.
Okay, let's talk. Oh, I hit him with a Nagy. That's a little teaser. Will he get away? That might.
Jason Garrett was let go as the offensive coordinator of the Giants, and I mean, listen, you don't have a good quarterback, you don't have a good offensive line, and none of the wide receivers are there. Somebody pointed out Andrew Thomas, their left tackle, has more touchdown catches than their first round pick and their biggest free agent signing combined, mostly due to injury. Nothing about the offense works. And, there is, you have to hold somebody accountable for how bad the team is at some point, right? I don't think it's Jason Garrett's fault, but, that's going to come for Joe Judge pretty soon as well. The team just doesn't work. They're in a terrible place. They don't have enough talent. I don't think that they have, or Joe Judge has the respect of that roster. And they're not progressing. They're not getting better.
Yeah. It's funny because they don't have the talent. Daniel Jones is just not a good quarterback. I looked at his stats because I saw he threw 2 interceptions yesterday. I was just like, what does he have total on the season? He has like 9 total touchdowns and 7 interceptions. And this is pretty much on par with what he's been doing the last couple of seasons. His touchdown to turnover ratio is flip-flop. He usually has more turnovers than touchdowns. And and look, shout out to Ferris, shout out to my man Brandon. I know the Giants fans.
Ferris is not a Knights fan anymore.
Yeah. He's defected. He escaped with the slaves on Thanksgiving.
Wow. Okay. So shout out to you, Ferris, I guess.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have gone there with it, but that's all right. You got out.
It's in line with our story. But the point is, despite the fact that they don't have any real talent, and Dave Gettleman, the GM, has done a terrible job surrounding them with talent. There's still something to be said for the coaching and accountability, and somebody needs to be held accountable. Mm-hmm. Look, Jason Garrett. No, you can't put it all on him, obviously, but he didn't help himself either, right? He wasn't the solution either. It wasn't like he was out there drawing these plays that looked great and they just weren't executing it like we always like to say over here. No, he didn't. He just didn't look like anything special. So he had to go as well. And Joe Judge will be out too. And what can we learn from this as Ravens fans? Stop making excuses, right? Players are hurt. Players are hurt on every single team. But we still have Lamar Jackson, right? We still have Hollywood Brown, Rashad Bateman. Like, we still have some pieces out there. Stop making excuses for the poor play calling that we have in Baltimore and start saying, look, if you're not going to do your job, you got to go. Now, I just hope Jason Garrett doesn't come over here as some sort of consultant or something like that, because that's a Harbaugh move.
It is a Harbaugh move, but they've already got their Greg Roman replacement on the roster and T. Martin. I don't think they're going to be adding anybody else and muddying the waters at all. And Jason's going to go home and take some time off, I'm sure.
Now, I don't want to make this all about the Ravens, man. The Giants, they are a dumpster fire.
A little bit. And Saquon Barkley came back, and I mean, just absolutely no effect on the game whatsoever. And I'm not even putting that on Saquon. I mean, he's a great talent. Everybody knows that he can play. But, this just goes to show further that running backs don't make a difference on bad teams. And it's a position that just doesn't, it doesn't bring the kind of value that, well, you said you don't want to make it about Baltimore, but I was going to say that the Ravens think it does. Saquon Barkley is one of the most talented players in the league. He showed that in his rookie year. But you put him out there with the Giants, and he might as well not even be playing.
He has no impact on the game, and it's not because he's a bad player. It's just they don't impact that game. They can't impact the game unless the other things are taken care of. Because I know everybody likes to look at Derrick Henry. It's like, man, Derrick Henry is the best player on that team, which is true. But, they have – well, I mean, there's questions about the O-line now. Going into this year, they're pretty solid. They have a good wide receiving core. They have a good defense. They have, a solid quarterback. They have all the other things to where Derrick Henry can go out there and beat Derrick Henry. But if everything else was bad, no, like he wouldn't be effective. Like Derrick Henry didn't turn into Derrick Henry as soon as he stepped onto the field. Like when he came to a bad team and he didn't look great.
Yeah,
right?
he wasn't even the starter initially.
Right.
He was behind DeMarco Murray for a couple of years.
Yeah, DeMarco Murray was pretty good too, though.
But
yeah, I mean, but the point is, like they can really affect the game when you have everything else going, and they can be your best player, and they can really, be the driving force behind your success when those other things are in place. But when you start with that, because we're talking about the Giants didn't even have an O-line when they drafted Saquon Barkley. Yeah. There's so many other directions they could have gone in before Saquon Barkley. And I know they went in the second round and drafted Will Hernandez. He's been playing terrible, right? Yes. And I actually thought he was going to be a good player. He's awful.
Everybody thought that was a steal, and no, it wasn't. He is god awful.
Yeah, so I mean, it hasn't been going well. Now for the draft this year, I do like Azeez Ojulari. He's been playing well. That's somebody that the Ravens were looking at, or Ravens fans were looking at for the Ravens. He's playing well for them. Kadarius Toney, I think is gonna be good. He's just been hurt, right?
Yeah.
But too late for Jason Garrett at least, and it looks like probably for Judge as well.
But listen, don't feel bad for Jason Garrett because he didn't deserve to get the job to begin with. So it is what it is.
But nobody deserves anything in NFL. Like who does?
Well,
I mean,
it's
all nepotism.
I mean, there wasn't any argument to make this to say that Jason Garrett should have been the offensive coordinator in New York. So whatever, you had your shot, didn't work out, you got fired. It's not a big deal. Moving on.
That's a good point. Go to the next coach.
So somebody that the Ravens are very familiar with after last week, Matt Nagy.
Yes.
I'll say one thing. I will say one thing. I don't really like reporters asking, players or coaches about losing their job.
No,
like if that's what you heard from a source, like okay, you can report that if you want. Don't go up in Matt Nagy's face and be like, "Hey, you getting fired tomorrow?"
Right?
Like,
because look,
why?
as fans, we can sit here and say this person needs to be fired, get rid of that person, whatever. We're fans. We don't work for any of these people, right? We can just have.
And you're not interacting personally with them.
We're not interacting with them. We can just have a strong emotion towards it. But when you're dealing with these people, whether you're a reporter or whatever, like be professional.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's common decency.
Yeah. A high school in Chicago just had to put out a statement apologizing essentially to the Nagy family because he went to a game because one of his kids was on a team, and the fans in the stands just started chanting fire Matt Nagy essentially, right, at a high school game when he's just there spending time with his family, and so they had to put out a statement apologizing for all the fans who were doing that. Like it's not okay.
Yeah, it's look, fans they're jerks, and sometimes like that's why you get paid millions. Sometimes like you gotta deal with just jerks out there as you see walking around, but like no, it's not okay, and it's just like grow up, man. It's a game. I know. And you don't like the way he's coaching. He's not a particularly good coach, not a head coach in the NFL anyway. And all right, fine. You don't want him on a team. Doesn't have to go any further than that, right?
Especially when you consider, I don't think he's a good coach. I think he a firing is justified. But he made the playoffs twice with Mitchell Trubisky. What do you want him to do? Like, what more are you realistically? What more are you asking for out of Matt Nagy?
Yeah. So,
so the story is that he's going to coach on Thursday. The Bears are playing on Thursday, and then he'll be fired.
Another unprofessional move, if that's what they're planning on doing.
Right.
Very unprofessional by our organization, and that speaks a lot to how bad the organization is right now. They're in a bad place.
Yeah. You don't want to be doing it. Like, hey, we're letting you go, but can you come in on Friday?
Right.
No.
Yeah, how many of you guys, if you're told, hey, we're letting you go on Thursday, or Friday, can you work the rest of this week, including Thanksgiving? Nah, man, I'm out. Peace.
Right. Yeah,
Peace. Especially if you don't need the money.
If I heard that from the Bears management, and I'm Matt Nagy, like Allen Robinson's playing a lot of quarterback on Thursday. I'm just gonna move guys around, just gonna have fun with it because who cares? I'm fired tomorrow anyway.
because it's one of those things, and I get coaches always want to go out respectfully and professionally because you never know
relationships.
Yes, but what are the odds he's going to get another head coaching job?
Not right away. Not right away, but I think it's possible down the line, and you certainly want to go back to being at least a coordinator somewhere else, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I'm sure even if they told him, "Hey, we're going to fire you on Friday," he'll show up and coach the game on Thursday and coach like he's trying to win and everything. I don't
know what his I don't know what his contract situation is. Like, if they fire him, do they owe him money? Right? Like, do you have one of those things where he has some years left that are guaranteed to him, or they?
Well, yeah, I mean, the coaches' contracts are always guaranteed, so I don't know how many years he has left. But yeah, if they fire him, they got to pay him whatever is left on his contract. But still, man,
because I was thinking about just what, I'm quitting now.
Yeah.
Right? I'm quitting now. Like, in fact, seriously, I would have a conversation with them and say, look, if you're gonna fire me, just fire me. You're gonna hire one of the, somebody's gonna take over as an interim head coach. Just let them do it right now. I really don't want to do it, especially during the holidays. I'd rather just be home with my family.
Like, maybe travel on
I don't. Yeah,
so I just don't want the next day.
Right. Let's just make it happen now. No hard feelings. But I don't want to have to work on the holidays and then get fired the day after. Like, I'd rather not travel for that.
Yeah.
So,
but, the NFL has never really been about what's good for the employees on any level.
So no.
It is what it
now,
is.
We can transition to the team that helped push Nagy over the edge, and that is one Baltimore Ravens. So, all right, real quick, we'll recap a little bit more of the game last week and then get into this Browns game, because what we saw last week was not good football.
No.
And I know Lamar was out. I know Hollywood Brown is out. I know we have a lot of injuries, and that plays into it for sure. But that Bears team is a really bad team.
Mm-hmm.
And as we just discussed, their coach is getting fired because they're that bad. They're that bad. They're like, after Thanksgiving, because we only want you to join your Thanksgiving, then we'll fire you. That's how bad they are. I don't take a lot of pride in that victory. I'm glad we got it because we need it. But I don't take a whole lot of pride in that victory, and how it ended, in the response that John Harbaugh gave to an awful play near the end is just completely unacceptable. So, we've been talking about it all week so far. The 4th and 11 0 blitz play, and they scored a touchdown on that play. And luckily we had enough time on the clock, and Tyler Huntley made a heroic play to get the ball to Sammy Watkins. I'm not even sure if it was a busted play or not, but he got the ball, got down to the goal line. We scored a touchdown. We got lucky, right? Mm-hmm. But hearing John Harbaugh's response after that, right? Somebody asked him about the 0 blitz play, and he said it's better to die a fast death than a slow death, something to that effect, saying, look, if we're gonna give up a play, it's better that we give it up with time on the clock. That's fine, but when you're saying it as like that's a strategy, hey, we're gonna do an all-out blitz and try to stop them, and if not, we can go ahead and let them score, so we have time on the clock to answer with a touchdown, which we hadn't been able to do for 3 3/4 of a game. That is a terrible strategy, and don't. Yeah. No, go ahead.
Well, especially against a team quarterbacked by Andy Dalton, who wasn't in field goal range and was losing at that point in the game. You drop back in coverage. It's 4th and 11. There was no chance they were going to convert that unless you just left somebody open. Right. And it's like they it almost seems like it was intentional, right? Because Chris Westry is coming off of, how many games did he miss? He'd been on IR. He hadn't played in quite a while. He had a knee injury, and he wasn't, even on his best day, he's not going to keep up with Marquise Goodwin. So What is he doing one-on-one in that situation? And they're lucky that it wasn't a better coach team, because if he catches the ball and goes down, just takes a knee inside the 10, they run out the clock, kick a field goal, and beat Baltimore.
Yeah. He tried to use the example of a few years ago when we were in a cover 2 or a Tampa 2 type defense. It was 4th down, and it was Andy Dalton that threw that game-winning touchdown that knocked us out of the playoffs. You remember that? He's like, oh, well, look what happened then. Like, nothing's guaranteed. That's a poor example, man. Right? Like, yeah, it was a fluke play, and nobody tackled on that play. Right? You see a common theme here, even up to today, poor tackling. I still put on coaching. Why are they tackling so poorly?
Yeah.
Tackle. You know what I'm saying? But at least they were in position to stop the guy. They just didn't make the play.
Yeah.
There was nobody there to make a play there. And we're all sitting there saying, like, yeah, it's better that we just give it the play. What if that guy ran a slant and just got the first down and went down and then run out the clock?
Yeah, you lose.
Yeah.
And I don't want to hear, nothing's guaranteed. If nothing's guaranteed and that's going to be your argument, let me be the coach. What does it matter, right? Anything can happen. Anything can happen to anybody. It's all random. Yeah. Nothing's guaranteed. Yeah. Okay, well, we'll step down then. You're doing a bad job at nothing being guaranteed. Let me try.
Yeah. All right. So I just want to hop on that real quick as we get into the Browns game. And I'm saying all this because, look, we got away with one last week, and we're all celebrating that we're 7-3. Yes, every team has issues, which is true. Every fan base is questioning their team right now, which is true. But we have been blessed with playing some of the worst teams in the league right now, not just on the field, but like just how they're run. We just talked about the Bears, how poorly they run. We just talked about the Giants, how poorly they're run, right? And now we're playing the Browns, and it looks like we're getting lucky again because they are just falling apart more and more every single week, right? Like, I didn't think it could get any worse after the Odell stuff. I didn't think so. But now it's looking like it's even worse without Odell.
Yeah. Because at least with Odell, you had a scapegoat. You could point at Odell and say, oh, well, Diva in the locker room is causing problems. Right? But you can't do that now.
Yeah, he had one good game afterwards, which was predictable because Baker plays his best football possible when he has a chip on his shoulder. That's why he always has that. He has that bratty type of or snarky type of attitude because he's trying to get himself motivated. I'm not even mad at it, but that's just the reality. He has to play when he feels like he has something to prove. That he has to play like that in order to get the best out of him. But after that feeling has worn off, regular Baker is back. Right. And what you saw last week, well, I mean, I'm not sure if you guys watched the game, but that game he had against Detroit was not good. Yeah. And it was so bad that, and this is the funny part, because what got Odell out of there in the end was a post from his father, right? Or we think it was from Odell, but his father posted it basically saying, hey, the quarterback sucks, right? He's not good. And the media went crazy with that. And, that's Odell causing drama. You can't have him there. You get rid of him. And, as soon as you get rid of him, they blow out the Bengals and see better without Odell. Since then, they've looked awful. Yes. And now you have Baker's wife out there taking shots at the whole team, calling them soft. They need to toughen up, right? So which one is worse? The father of a player saying the quarterback sucks, or the wife of a quarterback who isn't playing well saying, no, it's the rest of y'all that suck?
Right. Because again, the optics of the situation are, hey, is Baker going home and telling his wife that the rest of us aren't tough enough? Because, and listen, Baker's playing hurt. He's got several injuries. He's playing through it. He's not playing well, but he is playing through it. And, the rest of them aren't playing very well either. Baker's not playing well, but neither is the defense. Nick Chubb's playing well, but he's Nick Chubb. You expect that. But the rest of the team isn't doing particularly well. So you when it's the player's wife coming out and posting stuff, you kind of think, is this what he's saying? When we're not around, like he's complaining about the rest of us. He's kind of blaming the rest of us when he's not doing well himself.
And it's just not a good time for it because you did just lose Odell, and a lot of players in that locker room loved Odell. right? And it's one of those things where, okay, maybe they understood, hey, it wasn't working out. They're gonna side with the quarterback. I mean, they're adults, they understand that. But when that quarterback is not helping you guys win games, and you have a family member taking shots in the media or social media, there's a lot of similarities there, and it's just like, well, hold on, what's the consequence for him? Right? Because you got Odell out, and he was trying to be a good soldier. He wasn't saying anything. He wasn't causing a problem, right? One post got him out of there, and let's be real, he wanted to be gone. So I mean, that was but with Baker, like
the consequence for Baker is going to be he's not making $40 million a year. That's going to be the consequence.
I honestly thought he was going to when it started. I thought they were going to have to pay him. I didn't think he was going to play this bad, but he's been playing so bad, man.
Yeah.
We haven't even gotten into the game yet. But obviously, I fully expect the Ravens to win this game. As bad as we've looked, and we've looked bad. I'm not even 100% sure Lamar's playing this week because he still hasn't practiced yet. They say he's feeling much better, but he hasn't practiced yet. Right? It's Tuesday. I mean, by the time you guys see this, it'll be Wednesday. Maybe he will have practice on Wednesday, but not 100% sure about that yet. But either way, I feel confident that we'll win this game.
Yeah, my assumption is that he's going to be playing. Our guy Game Medicine on Twitter, give him a follow if you're not already.
Yes.
Basically, he's saying with the virus, it goes through your system, and then you have a little recovery period, and he should be fine for next week essentially.
Yeah.
If he's fine, I would expect Baltimore to win. I kind of expect Nick Chubb to go for 120 plus, but I expect the Ravens offense to be able to do enough to get the win. If he's not able to play, Baltimore's in big time trouble. Big time trouble because they can just turn around and hand the ball off all day long, and Baltimore won't be able to do anything about it.
Yes, I'm about to say. I was about to say. Well, they played poorly against Detroit, but Detroit they're better tacklers than us right now. We are starting to do better in that aspect. Patrick Queen played much better the last couple of weeks, and I told you I think Patrick Queen is going to be fine in the future. He's going through a slump right now. There's some growing pains, but I think he's going to develop into a fine linebacker. I'm not worried about Patrick Queen long term, but right now, look, he's doing better. But yeah, we're still getting gashed. We're getting gashed all over on defense, man.
Yeah, the Detroit Lions, winless as they are, aren't giving up as many home run plays as Baltimore's defense is. So,
man, that's the thing about this defense. Every week, it's a common theme every week. Oh, we're playing fine for the most part. It's just one or two plays here, but it's those one or two plays that keep killing us.
Yeah, those 2 plays against Chicago were 2 touchdowns.
Yeah,
and if not for some late game heroics from your backup quarterback, you're 6-4.
And it's only 1 or 2. It's only 1 or 2 plays now because we're playing bad teams. When we start playing the good teams on the schedule, well, I mean, it's gonna be 4 or 5 plays.
You saw what happened when they played Cincinnati. It wasn't 1 or 2 plays against Cincinnati.
Yeah.
And Cincinnati's not particularly good.
No, they're not.
They're all right. They're not a great team or anything. The rest of the season, they're playing all winning teams. You're not going to be able to get away with, oh well, yeah, quick death, right? Oh yeah, hey, hey, we played good for most of the game, just didn't tackle that one time. You're not going to be able to get away with that when you're playing the Rams and the Packers and the Steelers and the Browns. It's not going to work.
Yeah, and shout out to Nitro. I saw he did a Spaces earlier. I tried getting there for a few minutes, but I was still at work. But the name of the Spaces was "The Ravens Think You're Stupid," and I heard a few people in there in the room that they took a little exception to the title. I'm not sure how I feel about the title. This and that. He's absolutely right. They do think you're stupid. John Harbaugh absolutely thinks. If he doesn't think you're stupid, he at least thinks he's much smarter than you.
Yeah.
He does think any BS that he tells you, you're gonna go along with it. And some of you guys eat that up. And not saying that you're stupid or anything like that, but he knows when he says something, there's gonna be a certain subset of that fan base that's going to eat it up, and they're going to regurgitate it on Twitter, Instagram, all the social media. They're going to tell you that. I'm telling you right now, That's a BS answer.
Yeah.
That's a BS answer. That's not acceptable. He can say whatever he wants to the media. I don't care. But he better not be telling Wink that that's okay. He better be telling them we can't have that anymore. We can't afford to have any more bad games, even against Cleveland. Cleveland's a bad team. They're a very bad team right now. But they still have talent.
Yeah.
And we can't go in there playing the way we've been playing the last 3 weeks. Because we didn't play good against Minnesota. We can't play like we did against Minnesota and beat them.
I was going to say the last 10 weeks, but whatever.
Well, yeah, I mean, because
9 of the last 10 anyway.
Because it's really going back to
to week 1.
The last good game we played was the Chargers.
Good, but yeah, last and only.
That was about what, 5 weeks ago? That's probably about 5 weeks ago.
4 or 5.
That's probably the last time we played a good game.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I know we beat the Colts. We played awful for most of that game. Lamar brought us back into that, but that was a poor performance. But we can't play like that moving forward. The rest we have 7 games left, and all these teams that we're saying they have questions about the team, and there's some doubt there. Some of these teams are going to start to figure it out. Right, because it's crunch time now. They're trying to make a run for the playoffs. They're trying to get a top seed, things of that nature, and they're going to start to tighten it up because they understand you got to go into the playoffs hot,
like Kansas City, who
Kansas City.
Everybody in Ravens Flat, has been having a lot of fun talking about how Kansas City, they look awful and they're done and they're not coming back. Their defense has allowed under 13 points on average for the last 4 weeks.
And I believe, isn't Pat Mahomes second in the league in touchdown passes? I think he's up there.
I think he is, but he was never playing poorly. He was just not playing like Pat Mahomes that you're used to seeing.
Yeah.
But now, over the last month, their defense has really stepped it up. Yeah. And that's kind of been what has allowed them to really turn around and look much better than they had previously. And they're not turning the ball over as much.
And they just beat a really good Dallas team.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's another team that we have to look out for. So are we going to start to turn the corner? Are we going to start to peak at the right time? So far, I mean, it hasn't looked like it, but this is a time to do it if we're going to do it. So we're going to find out what the coaching staff is made of, because we have what we have. Right, no help is coming unless we get Philip Lindsay. We didn't talk about Philip Lindsay being cut, but we have what we have. Either this coaching staff can make it work or they can't, and we're going to find out here pretty soon. But score prediction, I'm going to say, is this on the road for us? I'm not even sure. Because we played them.
This one is because they're playing this week and then again in 2 weeks. I think this one is on the road. I think.
Man, I'm going to say Ravens 27, Browns 17. That's what I'm going to say. 27-17.
Let me check here and see if they are on the road or not. Okay, week 12.
Yeah, because
oh no, this one is in Baltimore.
It's in Baltimore?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, and it's Sunday night. I didn't even realize.
That's right. Sunday night. Okay. All right. So, yeah. I might change it. I think we might score a few more points. And Lamar coming back too.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say 31-17.
Okay.
31-17.
For me, assuming Lamar's playing and Hollywood is back, I think that Baltimore gets the win. Like I said, I expect a big game out of Nick Chubb. I expect Baker Mayfield to play poorly. I expect him to actually get knocked out of the game because he does have those lingering injuries. And I expect that to not have any effect on the game whatsoever. So I'm going to say Baltimore. I'm going to say 28-24. Baltimore wins.
Ooh, okay. Yeah. You can't be surprised by any score nowadays. So
yeah.
But we have Baltimore winning, and that would move us to 8-3, and that would keep us on top of the AFC North for another week. And then we got to face the Steelers the following week. and they lost a close game to the Chargers. They almost came back and won. The Steelers, they have a lot of injuries too, but they're starting to pick it up. They're starting to pick it up. That's not a team that we can sleep on. So we play them, and then we play the Browns again, and hopefully by then we beat the Steelers and we can put the Browns out of their misery. But these next 3 games are going to be huge for us, man. They're going to be huge. So if we can go on a 3-game win streak, that'll give us 10 wins. That should be close to locking up a playoff spot for us. And then it's just a matter of seeding, right? And the number 1 seed is up in the air.
Yeah,
anybody can get it. I would love for us to get it because we need it. All right, you want to move on to some Panthers?
Yeah. So the Panthers, they played at home last week against Washington. Homecoming for Ron Rivera, obviously the start of the second stint for Cam Newton. It was his first start. He didn't start against Arizona. Cam played pretty well. He ended up with 3 total touchdowns, 2 passing and 1 rushing, which, the rushing touchdown really took me back. I like to see it. It was great. They ended up losing 27-21. And there were things that they could have done better on offense, particularly late in the game. They stayed throwing short. Cam missed a couple guys who were open in terms of, just kind of didn't see him, didn't throw him the ball. But man, that game was on the defense, and it was bad. Yeah. They had Taylor Heineke out there looking like a superstar.
Yeah.
Taylor Heineke is not a good quarterback, and he should not be doing that to good defenses. That defense needs to tighten up. I think the offense is going to be okay. The O-line played pretty well again last week. Well for Carolina standards, they played pretty well. They've got the skill guys. Now they have a legit player at quarterback. So I expect the offense to continue to get better every week. I think this week against Miami, the defense brings it. I think they probably are feeling a little stung, a little hit to the pride off of what happened last week. And I think they have a great performance against Miami, and I'm feeling a blowout for Carolina.
Okay. Yeah, there's not much to add to it. Yes, I think they fell asleep a little bit last week, man. I'm not even gonna say that they were in awe of playing with Cam or nothing like that, because they played well the week before against Arizona, right? Mm-hmm. I think they just had a letdown, right? And this we were talking about with leaning on defense. Defense can just let you down sometimes, and you have to have enough firepower on the offensive side to get into these shootouts. And the Panthers did. They just didn't get it done. That's just what it is, right? But Cam's second game, his first full game, he's going to get into more of a rhythm with this team, and he's going to feel more comfortable. They're going to be more comfortable with him, and I think you're going to start to really see them take off. And they're playing a Miami team that isn't particularly good, and they're going to have a bunch of success. That defense ain't going to play that bad again all year.
And I think that it was funny that Ron Rivera in his press conference said they got lucky, essentially. Washington. They got lucky that they played Carolina when Cam was still just getting his legs under him. Because Ron Rivera loves Cam, right? He's been a big Cam fan. So he's like, they're going to keep getting better and better, and we got lucky to get him early on. And I think part of that is just, that's my guy. I'm going to talk him up a little bit.
Yeah.
But part of it is also Cam is just getting his legs under him. They're not really opening up the offense. They weren't throwing the ball downfield at all. They got questions about that after the game, why they were throwing short all day. And they said, it's not anything to do with Cam. That's just the what they were calling. But they don't have, moving forward, they're going to be doing more throwing the ball down the field, I think. Yeah. And, I think that the Panthers offense will really take off. And it is just going to be a question of how good is that defense really? Because we know that they're talented, but they are very young. And part of youth is inconsistency. Yeah. So we'll see how they can bring it week after week, because they have to win. They have to start winning games. They can't they can't afford to drop games to teams like Miami. They couldn't really afford to lose to Washington, but they're still in a spot where they kind of control their own destiny because they're undefeated in the division. They should absolutely not lose to Atlanta or New Orleans moving forward. And they've got 2 games against Tampa Bay to close out the season. So they're still in a position where they control their own destiny, and if they can kind of get everybody pulling in the same direction, they've still got a shot to win the division, get to the playoffs.
And here's the thing: they don't have to win the division. Like if they get in as a 7th seed, they could still cause trouble because the number 1 seed right now is going to be Arizona. Arizona, and then the number 2 seed is what, the Rams?
No. It will be either Green Bay or Dallas. Or it could be, Green Bay, Dallas, or Tampa.
And the thing is, man, like we said earlier, every team has questions. So it doesn't matter who the number 1 or number 2 seed is, or the top seed is that they have to go up against. They can beat them with Cam. Right? It can absolutely happen. Now now the pressure is going to be on Matt Rule and staff, right? Like now you don't have the excuse of, hey, bad quarterback play. Right, you have a quarterback that everybody knows can play, and he's showing you. I mean, it's been only a sample size, but he's showing you he ain't done.
Yeah,
right. He still got a lot left. Only played a little bit in the first game, second game, first full game, and he's got 5 total touchdowns so far, and he's only getting started. So, high expectations for this team. Pressure's going to be on Matt Rule to get it done, but that's a good thing. So my score prediction is going to be, I'm going to say 28-10. 28-10 Panthers.
I'm thinking a similar score. I'm going to say 31-9. Miami doesn't get in the end zone.
All right, there you go. And also, okay, so let's ask this. Let's throw this out there. Cam Newton, they tried to sign him to a 2-year deal to bring him back. He wanted more than that, and they decided we'll just do a 1-year deal, essentially for like $6 million or whatever, $10 million with incentives. If he plays well, he keeps this up, he plays well, is a multi-year deal coming at the end of the season for Cam? I
think so. If he plays even just at the level he's playing right now, Carolina's not in a position where they can get another quarterback. Realistically, they're not going to be picking high enough in the draft. They will be able to pick a guy in, on day 2, or if they really want to in day 1, and a guy who needs time to develop, a guy who needs to sit for a little while. So I think regardless, and Carolina's not an attractive spot for free agents. So I think that Cam, should be the quarterback for the next few years. Honestly, if I'm them, I'm not looking at bringing in a quarterback at all. Depending obviously about how the rest of the season plays out. But Cam's not old,
right?
So if he plays well, if he plays really well down the stretch, there's no reason to think about bringing in a quarterback at this point. Roll with PJ Walker as the backup, Cam as the starter. Excuse me, and that's your quarterback room. If he doesn't play that well, or if he is inconsistent, and you think maybe he's on the decline, he only has a couple years left, then okay, go ahead and extend him and draft a quarterback and let them sit and learn for a year or two before you put them out there. But at this point, right now, they should be operating with the idea that Cam Newton's going to be the quarterback, for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, and absolutely. Because I was just thinking the same thing. I was like, okay, they tried to do a 2-year deal, but honestly, if he plays at a high level the rest of this year, and especially if they get out of the first round of the playoffs, that's going to be more than 2 years. Yeah. And I see no reason why not. Like, all Tepper wants is a high profile quarterback that's going to put butts in the seats. And Cam Newton has shown that already.
Yeah.
He's already shown that you shouldn't got rid of him. He sells tickets, and if he's still playing at a high level, there's no reason to go searching for any quarterback. They can just focus on other parts of the team.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, I think Cam Newton, because you and I have been believers of Cam Newton, man. We weren't sure if he was going to get another opportunity to play again, but we knew he had the ability to do what he's doing now. And like you said, he's not old, man. He can keep doing this for a while. So he has a great year, finish out the year. He's back. You know, he's back. I see a multi-year deal coming for him.
Yes.
Okay. So we're about halfway through, a little more than halfway through. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. Right. The holidays is here, is upon us. As you guys are watching this, it's Thanksgiving Eve, and then after Thanksgiving, Black Friday comes. And I know, look, the holidays, man, it is stressful. You're trying to figure out what to get your loved ones, you know, the perfect gift. And it's like, man, you know, I don't want to be fighting in the stores for stuff. Amazon always be lying about when stuff gets delivered to me. You know, I'm saying that because Amazon lied to me. I want my money back. I paid for it, right? But yeah, man, you're trying to figure out what can I get? What can I get people? You know, with the money that I have, the hard-earned money that I have. Lunch Break Hot Take has a solution for you. Oh, yes, we do. Yes, we do. We have some sweet merch here. Look at that. We were just talking about the Panthers, right? B, let's discuss this item right here. This is a RIP to the South hoodie.
Yeah, so you know we have one for the Ravens as well. With the same design, you know, some different player numbers and different colors, obviously. If you think that we're haters, like a lot of people do, if you think we're too pessimistic, if you think we're too hard on the team, show your support for these garbage defenses by ordering the RIP to the South hoodie for the Panthers. Panthers aren't garbage. They're going to turn it around. They're fine. They had a bad week.
They're definitely garbage. Yeah.
No. But yeah, if that's what you think and you want to support the team anyway, you want to support those guys, the young players, the young core on defense. You know, we got this one for Carolina, and we've got the Nevermore hoodie for the Baltimore Ravens.
Oh, look at that! Look at that!
Featuring well, I don't want to say who, but you all see the numbers. You know who.
Yeah. Featuring players that play defense for a team that possibly wears purple. Okay. Listen, man, I know we started the hashtag defund the defense, and you guys, you know, if you're new here and you're not sure what that means, or you might thinking, hey, these guys hate defense. We don't hate defense. We love defense. What we're saying is stop spending money on the defense. But look, like B said, show your support, man. Okay. Look at that, man. And if you look at those gravestones, okay, those are the other teams in the division. Okay.
Yes.
So you know, those are some good items, and we have much more on the store, on the website. You go on that ticker right below us, right? LBHTshow.com/shop. You can get you one of these shirts that we're in right here. It's getting cold outside. You can get some get a beanie, you can get a hoodie, you know, and if you're not sure what to get your loved one, we got gift cards. Okay. Send them an LBHT gift card and let them decide. Okay. And everything that you purchase goes right back into the show, man. And as you can see, we're always, you know, pushing the envelope, trying to do new things to bring you guys a high quality experience here. So that'd be greatly appreciated. Also, we're going to give you a couple more ways to support. Let me bring back the graphic there. Okay. Patreon.com/LBHT Show right below me. Okay. That's another way to support. We have 2 tiers, a $3 tier and a $10 tier. B, can you tell them about the tiers real quick?
Yeah, so the $3 tier gets you an invite into the Overtime Show. That's a show that we do every week after the live show with all the patrons. You know, we talk about anything that we didn't get to on the show and also anything that's going on in the world of sports or entertainment or, you know, the people's lives if they want to bring that up. You know, anything and everything. It's a lot of fun. We do that every week for about another, hour and a half after the live show.
Yeah.
You also get entrance into our NFL Pick'em League. This year it was a Survivor League. You make one pick. If your team wins, you advance. If they lose, you're out. The last person standing gets a trophy at the end of the season. This year it's OTR Mike. So we got to get that in the mail for him. Congratulations to Mikey. The $10 tier gets you an on-screen invite into the Overtime Show. You can join the stream and talk with us. It also gets you entrance into our yearly fantasy football league, which is going to be turned into a dynasty league starting next season. And we give away a custom championship belt at the end of the year. It also gets you the ability to request specific content, articles, videos, things like that, any topic that you want. Up until very recently, I was also getting you a Founders coin.
Yes.
These are all gone, but we are getting a new LBHT crew coin. We're expecting those to be in by mid-December. And so we'll have that on the we'll have that to show off on the show pretty soon. And we'll be mailing those out to our current members. And both of the tiers also get you entrance into our Discord channel.
All right. So, I mean, we give a lot for those 2 tiers, and shout out to Josh Hoffman, our latest member to sign up, man. Much appreciated. Yes. And we're growing. We're a crew right now. We're trying to build an army, and then a legion, and then a nation. Okay. And thank you so much for the early support, man. Like me and B really appreciate it. And also, we haven't said it enough on this show. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Okay, we're trying to we have an ambitious goal. It's an ambitious goal. We're almost in December. We're trying to hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Okay, and we're gonna have a little surprise once we hit 1,000 subscribers. Me and B have all kinds of things in store for you guys. Okay, but you gotta keep supporting us like you're doing. So tell your friends, tell your loved ones, support the show. All right. Yes. Okay. We talked about some Baker drama. We got some drama in the NBA with one LeBron James. Hold on, where's that ticker? Oh, there we go. LeBron James. LeBron. First, so disclaimer, me and B are LeBron fans. Okay. He likes the Lakers. I like the Nets. But wherever LeBron goes, we root for LeBron. Okay. I'm a LeBron fan unless he's playing the Nets. But we're LeBron fans. We think he's the greatest player of all time. And you're talking about 2 guys who grew up watching Michael Jordan. We are Michael Jordan fans. Okay. We think LeBron is the greatest player of all time. Okay. So we're throwing that out there. You can debate us if you want. It's whatever. But this week, man, he's been involved in 2 controversies. One you've definitely heard about. The other one, maybe not as much. That hasn't hit the headlines as much, but we definitely want to touch on that because me and B feel a certain way about it.
Yeah, I think we should go ahead and start with that one with Enes Kanter.
Okay.
Enes is he's a decent enough player, but he's a guy who is pretty outspoken on his political beliefs, his personal beliefs. He's spoken out against China. He's spoken out against Turkey, where he's from originally, the leaders of those nations, right? He has paid a certain personal price for that. Turkey is trying to extradite him back to Turkey. They have been threatening his family there. So I think, in general, I think Enes Kanter is a pretty thoughtful guy, right? And I think I think his heart is in the right place. But recently, he's calling out LeBron for essentially his dealings with Nike and having his shoes made in China, and essentially saying that they're made with slave labor with the Uyghurs that are in I guess you want to call it concentration camps in China. And he's kind of calling out LeBron for not only being a part of that. I mean, not a part of the slavery, but, working with Nike and having the shoes made there, but not saying anything about the Chinese government publicly. And, to be honest, I don't like Enes Kanter doing that. And it's not because, of anything. It's not because what LeBron's doing is right necessarily. It's because that's not the way to bring attention to your viewpoints and what you're trying to say. He's trying to kind of leverage LeBron's fame to get attention for his own comments. And I think it's the wrong way to go about that.
And also, your morals aren't somebody else's morals, right? What you're fighting for, it may not be exactly what somebody else is fighting for. and like the evils that they might support or represent or what have you, whatever, aren't going to be the same as yours, because everybody, like, look, you're going to get in bed with somebody that's evil at some point.
Well, yeah, I mean,
You can't get away from it.
Yeah, if you're watching this, essentially you're supporting it, right? Because if you have an iPhone or an iPad, or if you have a Galaxy phone, every major tech company that you can think of, the PlayStation, the Xbox, they've all used they've all been manufactured in China, and they've all used slave labor to manufacture their products.
Yeah, they steal resources from the Congo. Right? Like,
you can't. It's almost impossible to avoid. And for me, I think that you can't be about every cause, right?
No.
And LeBron, like, you can criticize LeBron for having a deal with Nike and having their shoes made over there, and say, hey, maybe that is something that he could control, but he can't control the Chinese government.
Right.
He doesn't have any way to leverage the Chinese government. If Nike stopped manufacturing their shoes in China, that wouldn't do anything for the Uyghurs.
Nothing at all.
And and it is a very sad situation. And I'm not saying that Enes Kanter shouldn't be talking about it. I'm not saying that Enes Kanter shouldn't try to do anything about it. But LeBron is focusing his efforts elsewhere on things that where in areas where he does feel like he can make an actual difference.
And listen, like I said, Enes Kanter's heart might be in the right place, but maybe I should just chalk this up to a foreigner who doesn't quite understand the plight of Black people in America. He doesn't fully understand it, right? Because we had this discussion off air, man. Like, I'm tired of other groups asking Black people to take up the fight for them, and we're still trying to fight for stuff in our own country. And it's just like, Enes Kanter, man, like, the nerve of you, right? Like, okay, you're at the George Floyd protest, the George Floyd rally. What's that doing? You're just out there talking, right? Like, we have a constant fight here for social justice, right? For equality, and the fight's not done just because you went to a rally, right? So LeBron's been doing a lot of talking about it, or he's done some talking about it. What he should have said is, yo, Enes Kanter, like, I thought you were helping us out here. Now you're diverting your attention over here, and before it was over in Turkey, now you're over in China. Then you're at the George Floyd rally. I'm still fighting the fight over here, so I don't know what you're talking about. I haven't studied on that much, because that doesn't affect us as much. I pray for those people. It's a sad situation, but I have a fight that I'm trying to fight over here, and I thought you were a part of it. What happened?
Right. And I don't blame Enes Kanter for not being more of a part of what's going on here.
No,
like you said,
nobody ever called him out on it, and nobody's called him out on it.
He's got priorities that lie elsewhere, and understandably so. His family and himself are affected personally by what goes on in Turkey.
Yep.
And the moral of the story, I guess you could say, is just, listen, be about whatever you want to be about, and don't worry about other people. And I think that he, like I said, he's trying to leverage LeBron's fame and to get himself into the news more. He was on CNN talking about LeBron. He's not going to be on CNN because he's Enes Kanter.
I don't like what he's doing. And what's his quote that you want me to put it up?
Go ahead. The quote from LeBron is just him kind of responding to what Enes Kanter has said. He says, no, I think if you know me, I don't really give too many people my energy, and he's definitely not someone I'll give my energy to, trying to use my name to create an opportunity for himself. Definitely won't comment too much on that, if any, and that will be where I lay that at. He's always kind of had a word or two to say in my direction, and as men, really, if you had an issue with somebody, you'd really come up to them, and he had his opportunity tonight. I saw him in the hallway, and he walked right by me. Enes Kanter came out and said that no, he didn't walk right by LeBron. LeBron walked by him and didn't say anything.
But you didn't say anything either.
Either way, like, it doesn't really matter which direction that happened in, right? Because you're the person who has a problem with LeBron. If you really want LeBron to use his influence to try to make a difference in China, then go and talk to LeBron. Don't talk to CNN. Don't talk to ESPN or Sports Illustrated or whoever else. Go talk to LeBron.
Yeah, it's something that like we can. These are things that we discuss more in depth on the Overtime Show. Just in case you're wondering, and I have a lot more to say about it, and maybe we'll save it for next week's Overtime Show. Or you want to discuss it in the Discord. Again, sign up for patreon.com/LBHT Show, and I can give you more about it. But I just don't like what Kanter is doing, and I think in part is maybe he just doesn't understand the dynamic of what's going on here in this country with black people in this government. So look, Kanter, fight your fight and stay out of other people's business, essentially.
Yeah. Because like I said, I don't have any problem with Enes Kanter. I think he's a pretty thoughtful guy generally, and I think he's just a little misguided in the way he's trying to get attention right now.
Yeah. All right.
LeBron got somebody else's attention this week, though.
The second part of the drama,
and that was Isaiah Stewart of the Detroit Pistons. He's a basketball player. I am saying that because you definitely don't know who Isaiah Stewart is. But they were playing a game and somebody was shooting a free throw and LeBron was lined up next to Isaiah Stewart. Stewart was kind of hanging on him a little bit, trying to kind of being physical with him, and LeBron got a little tired of it and kind of threw an elbow, trying to get his arm off of him, and he didn't really connect the way he was intending. It looked like he kind of brought his arm down and his hand kind of raked across Isaiah Stewart's face and cut open, right next to his eye. He was bleeding everywhere. Now it's one of those things where it looks worse than it is. He wasn't seriously hurt, but he was bleeding a good bit. It was covering his face and everything. And right after it happened, LeBron went up to him and kind of apologized. I said, "My bad. I didn't mean to hit you in the face and cut you or anything." And some people were kind of stepping between him, and Isaiah Stewart was just kind of standing there and saying whatever he was going to say. But once they got separated, is when things really took off, because as soon as LeBron was a safe distance away, Isaiah Stewart decided he likes to fight guy, and I got to get at LeBron.
I mean, now look, I'm not your resident tough guy. Okay, I'm not. I've never been a neighborhood bully or anything like that. But look, I could spot a fake tough guy. Okay, and this right here is a fake tough guy. Okay, because LeBron was right in his face initially when it all started, saying, "Hey, my bad, sorry about that," and he didn't do nothing.
Yeah,
it was when there was some separation between them is when he got like that. Okay, and we know what it is. We see it over and over and over again. It's not exclusive to him. That happens everywhere. We saw it. Was it last week or the week before with Jimmy Butler and Jokic, right? Jokic pushed down Marcus Morris. Is Marcus Morris or Markieff?
That one was Markieff, I believe.
Okay, Markieff Morris got pushed down, and Jokic immediately understood, man, I shouldn't have done that, right? Walked back to the bench, everybody got separated, and then Jimmy Butler hulked up and wanted to go fight him, and it's just like
and led his crew to the Nuggets locker room.
Yeah,
where the 8 of them were held back by one middle-aged man. It was he put up an incredible effort to keep those guys out of the locker room. I'll say that.
Yeah, yeah, they weren't going to do anything. So LeBron ended up getting suspended for a game. Isaiah Stewart ends up getting suspended for 2 games. And that's just what it's going to be. He did a lot. There's a lot more to that. You can go look at the video. Like he ran through the locker room, act like he's going to run around to the other side, like, what you see in wrestling.
Yeah. He did the thing where, he calms down. He's like, all right, I'm okay. And then takes off running really quickly to get by the people who were holding him back. They fell for that like 3 times. But he never got close to LeBron. So yeah, it was a whole big thing. Russell Westbrook. I've said repeatedly that I did not like the signing of Russell Westbrook, and that's because I don't think that he was a good fit in LA. Not even that he's a bad player. I just didn't think he was a good fit. But man, I love Russell Westbrook, the person. Okay, because the second Isaiah Stewart looked like he wanted to fight, Russell Westbrook's fists were in the air. He was ready to go. And Russell Westbrook seems like he's the greatest friend anyone could ever have.
Yeah, I mean, that's the other thing. Like, look, LeBron's he's keeping people employed. Okay, he's the money. Okay, you don't let anybody touch the money. So like, you were never going to get to him. And when you finally do get to him, like, he's the final boss, right? He's the one that's OP, and you can't just go in there just any old way. Like, it's just too much problems for Isaiah Stewart. And again, Isaiah Stewart understands this. He's just putting on the show. It's all performance, man. The next time they play each other, he ain't gonna go in there with any kind of vendetta. He's gonna go out there and play basketball.
Yeah.
But it's entertaining to watch, and it's fun for us to talk about. So
yeah.
Speaking of more violence,
oh goodness,
it's time for Tonya Harding Part 2. All right.
All right. This story is about women's soccer over in France. The team Paris Saint-Germain, one of the a big time club in soccer. Period. They had a couple of players. Carrie Hamraoui, I believe is how you say it. I apologize if I'm not saying that right.
We're never gonna get it right.
And her teammate Aminata Diallo, good friends apparently. But Hamraoui was a playing ahead of Diallo essentially. And one night they all kind of those two and another teammate went out, and Diallo was driving, and despite the fact that Hamraoui's home was closer, she took the other teammate home first. Right, that was kind of one of the things that sent up red flags for later. And when after they dropped off their other teammate, they're driving around on some back streets, and a couple of guys in masks kind of go out in front of the car and stop them, which apparently they were driving pretty slow, which was another red flag. But they stop the car, and they pull both of the women out, and they're holding Diallo, and then they start going after Hamraoui with I believe it was like metal pipes.
Right. And like, is there anything more obvious than that? Like, two random people are going to pull us out the car, and once it's going to get held down, it's like, watch us beat your friend.
Well, you think that, right? But that's what they did. They started beating on Hamraoui and her legs. Thankfully, didn't break anything. She was badly bruised. It looked pretty okay. I wasn't ready for that.
Yes.
But yeah, it didn't look good. No. But she was hurt pretty bad.
Yeah.
So following that incident, the police are obviously trying to find who did this, and immediately they arrest Diallo, because Diallo is a teammate. Despite the fact that they were friends and in vacation together and everything, Hamraoui was kind of keeping Diallo on the bench, and Diallo had been in contact with an old friend of hers who happened to be a pretty serious criminal. So she'd been in contact with them, and so the working theory was that, like the ticker says, she went Tonya Harding on her teammate and hired somebody to injure her so she could get on the field. Not too long after that, after she was arrested, she was released because they didn't have any real evidence, tying her to it. It was just kind of, circumstantial stuff. Like I said, being in contact with a friend who was a criminal, and, wanting to get on the field, and driving pretty slow, and taking, the long way around and everything. But after she was released, it kind of came out that someone had been calling other teammates, like a bunch of people with the team, and talking about how Hamraoui was having an affair with someone, with their husband.
Right.
And so they started looking around, and they looked to a team that she used to play for. I believe it was Barcelona. And one of the executives there, who Hamraoui had played there for 3 years, and apparently her current cell phone is in this guy's name. And she did have an affair with this guy, and I guess his wife found out about it. And so now the working theory at this point, I guess, was that his wife is the one who kind of orchestrated all of this to as payback for her having an affair with her husband.
Hold on. I mean, not Diallo. That's the girl's name.
Yeah, that was the teammate who was released.
Oh man,
arrested and released.
Man, she's black, man.
Yeah, but she didn't do it.
Oh,
so.
Man. Yo, I take everything back. I want everything I said stricken for the record.
But no, Diallo was essentially clear.
Why'd you do it?
They didn't have any evidence against her, but they brought her in for questioning, and now they're looking at this other. I forget the guy's name now, but his wife. They're thinking had orchestrated all of this because he had an affair with her. However long ago, and apparently is still paying her cell phone bill, which I don't know why you're doing that. She's a professional soccer player; she can probably afford that,
right?
But yeah, it's wild.
Listen,
right?
She had everything to do with it, man. She had everything to do because if it had happened to her, it'd have made more sense, right? But to your teammate, Nah. Maybe because wait, she was having an affair with a teammate's husband. Is that what you're saying?
No. So you had me confused there. No, this was an executive from a team that she used to play for.
Okay,
I think it was Barcelona. He was like a president or something of that team, and she had an affair with him, and his wife found out about it, and she what the thought now is that maybe she orchestrated this attack on Hamraoui, and then Diallo didn't have anything to do with it.
Not guilty. Not guilty. All right, I'm calling it now. Okay. Because look, it's a tough situation, right? Because it does look fishy, man. Right? Mm-hmm. Like it does look fishy. Like it's a targeted attack.
Yeah.
And you went a route that you don't normally go. That's the thing.
I'm not gonna lie, man. When I first read the article and they said they pulled both of them out of the car and started beating on Hamraoui while they were holding Diallo, I was like, she definitely did it.
Yeah,
like that doesn't make any sense.
But going a different route, also, right? It's one thing. It's like we usually go this way, whatever, or whatever. Like this is one of the ways we go. The other way is traffic or whatever. But like just for no reason,
because if you're going a different route, and how would they know that you were coming that way? And how did they know that you were in that car to stop you? Like, how long were they hanging out on that street in their masks with their lead pipes?
Listen, man, it doesn't sound good. And then it made me wonder. I'm just like, well, what are they getting paid? Because like over here, I mean, men's soccer over here doesn't pay anything, right? But over in Europe, they actually respect their players and their women players a lot more than we do. And I looked at it. Diallo, this is why I saw a picture of her, because I was trying to see, well, what do they make? And she's making 6 figures, I believe. Now I can't find it. But I believe she's making 6 figures. The highest paid player on the team is making 450 euro. Yeah. So the average annual salary of PSG women's team player is about 132,000 euros. It looks like the highest paid player is Diani. Yeah, her teammate. She's making 450,000. So she's just like, I need to come up. So yeah, man. Like, but it's a weird situation for the rest of the team, because what do you do, right? No charges pressed, right? They couldn't find any evidence. They canceled the game because they, what are we gonna do? Yeah, what are you gonna do? Now, okay, the game's canceled. What about for the next game? What about practice? What do you do with this? Right? How do you handle the situation? Because it doesn't look good for her.
Yeah.
But what if she didn't do it?
Well, I was gonna say from what I've read, for her part, Hamraoui doesn't believe Diallo had anything to do with it, and it's kind of they've made up I guess essentially.
That's just being foolish.
It's well,
I don't believe. I wouldn't believe it.
You know,
I wouldn't believe it. I gotta be honest. I would like if it weren't for the alternate route, I'd have been like, nah, I had this coming.
But listen,
right?
maybe in that car they know why they took that route. I don't know. Maybe they weren't even going home. Maybe they were going somewhere else. Right?
Okay.
But
right, and they were being followed
who
or something
knows?
like that.
Who knows? They know why they went that way that night. So,
yeah.
But yeah, from the outside looking in, man, toss Diallo in a cell until you can absolutely prove it's somebody else. Because how?
So if that's so did the executive for the other team get arrested?
No, not that I've seen yet. I think they may be a little gun shy after having arrested Diallo, and then
I'm about to say, if I'm Diallo, I'm like, you arrested me on some very shaky evidence. Yeah. I need this man locked up.
I think they're a little gun shy, and also, to be fair, I believe he's in another country. Man, so I think they're kind of pumping the brakes a little bit and trying to make sure they have their ducks in the proverbial row before they slap the cuffs on anybody else. Which maybe you should have done that to begin with. I don't know. Just free tip right there. But yeah, no, it's a crazy situation. Obviously, we hope Hamraoui fully recovers and is all right moving forward, because they say that she's having some mental issues from it as well.
Obviously,
because I mean,
it's traumatizing.
Somebody snatched you out of a car and started beating on your legs with pipes. For no apparent reason. So yeah, it's an awful story, and I just I'm a little shocked it's not a bigger story here, because it's women's soccer in Europe or whatever, but it's violence, and that's one thing America loves.
I'm not shocked, because there are plenty of stories, not necessarily like this, but there are plenty of stories out there that are huge that we just never hear about over here.
Yeah,
because America is just we're so shelled off from the rest of the world, man. Like, and it sucks, right? Yeah. Because there's a lot of good, interesting stories, which is why me and B kind of look for something like this, because we want to start bringing you some more like interesting stuff that you won't hear over here, right? But maybe that'll be a thing. Maybe we start finding more stories like this. Let us know if you like this story, if it's something that piqued your interest. All right, maybe we'll give you a little bit more of that. Or maybe we'll give you a little bit more of that on the overtime show. Ooh, yeah. I know if we had Ferris here, he'd give you some F1 drama. All right, so is that it? Do you want to do a little bonus time? I can rant a little bit more about the Ravens, or you want to fish it there?
I think we're good. I think the Ravens rants, like, Wink got to go, G-Row got to go, right? Yeah. But stop it. But stop saying it, because how is their boss constantly avoiding any kind of accountability? Why is it always fire the coordinators? Fire John Harbaugh.
So that is what I said on Nitro Space earlier. That's one thing I said before I hopped off, was basically it's a recurring cycle. We keep saying fire these coordinators, but ultimately it falls back to one guy, which is John Harbaugh. Because John Harbaugh doesn't have any kind of coaching tree. He's not any kind of guru. He's not offensive guru. He's not a defensive guru. He's a special teams guy, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm not trying to downplay special teams, but it is what it is. And he's relying on people that he knows that know the game already, right? Yeah. And those people just aren't that good at it anymore. Let's just be real about it. They're just not that good at it. At one point, maybe they were more effective, like Marty Morningwig, right? Back in the day, sure. In the 2020s, no, he's not. Greg Roman, no. Wink Martindale, Dean Pease, like all these guys, Cam Cameron, like the list is long of people that he's tied to that just aren't getting the job done. It's just not quite enough. And somebody like that, I get it. Every coach, they hire their friends, but if this is the best you can do, man, we got to get somebody with better friends.
Well, yeah, and this is why I say it's not that we think that John Harbaugh's a bad coach, but the word of the decade for Baltimore is complacency.
Yeah.
And, they don't have any kind of fire left. If you get rid of Harbaugh and he has to go get a job somewhere else, maybe it shakes him up and says, "Hey, man, I need to get back to it. I need to get back into form."
Yeah,
but he's not right now. You know, they're kind of coasting along, doing things their own way, and as long as he can escape consequences, it's just going to be that. That's what it is.
Yeah. But and also right before we go, I just wanted to get this off my chest because I saw this tweet earlier, man, and I've seen it plenty of times. I've seen people say it plenty of times, and this was just the last straw for me, man. Marcus Peters isn't that big of a blow to us, right? I've heard it way too much where people are like, "Hey, Marcus Peters was hurting us right now, him not being there." Marcus Peters is not that big of a blow to the defense. What he is a convenient excuse for how poorly we're playing. Because if Marcus Peters was healthy and out there playing right now, we would still be bad.
Well, you know, and I've said that I think that Marcus Peters is, you know, what they're missing is his attitude and his playmaking ability.
I'm not saying he doesn't hurt at all, but yeah.
Right. But the problem is that, you know, he's gone, and it seems like a major, you know, hole because they're poorly coached.
Yeah.
LJ Ford is gone, and it seems like a major hole because they refuse to teach anybody else how to tackle. And you know, they're just not doing their job on that side of the ball. And so you feel those losses much more than you otherwise would.
Yeah.
You know, it is what last year, look at just last year, you know, they were missing. I mean, they missed Marcus Peters for several games last year, right? They were missing Humphrey for a few games. They were missing Jimmy Smith. Tavon Young didn't play at all. They were bringing in guys off the street in the middle of the season, and they were playing much better than they're playing right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're just doing a poor job on the sidelines.
Yep.
In addition to doing a poor job on the field.
But look, starting this week, this is the time to see if they can turn it around, right? When your back is against the wall, you know, you get the best out of coaches sometimes. So let's see if that happens now. They can make a statement win with the Browns, but you know, still got to follow up with the Steelers after that. But I mean, it starts with the Browns. 7 games left, and we got to start seeing better execution. We got to start seeing just better play calling, better play from people, better pass blocking. Everything across the board just needs to be better, and no more excuses. All right, guys, that's the show. Thank you for hanging out with us, even though we're not actually here. Enjoy your holidays. Enjoy some turkey or whatever you're eating. Enjoy your Thanksgiving meal.
Don't be like Matt Judon. Get you some mac and cheese.
Get some mac and cheese, man. Don't listen to Matt Judon, man. He's just trolling with that. He loves Taco Bell, but he hates mac and cheese. Man, get out of here.
Indoctrination. Patriot way indoctrination. It's disgusting.
All right, y'all. Get out of here, man. Enjoy the rest of your week. We will see you maybe Sunday or Monday-ish, okay? We'll see you before Wednesday for sure, and then we'll definitely be back next Wednesday for the live stream. So y'all have a good night. Stay safe, and we will see you next time. Peace out.